I'm telling you, no matter how much you prepare for any one of these things, you don't know what's going to happen. This week is actually pretty special. It's actually my anniversary, dude. So I try to prep and be ready for this live stream as much as possible. I thought I had plenty amount of time. And again, the minute you start, as much preparation that you do, stuff tend to happen, like little hiccups and stuff. And it's like all of a sudden things were just a little slower, and it feels like the half an hour to 40 minutes that I have time frame to set up and be ready and start exactly on time turned to 2 minutes tops. So here we are. I'm just gonna go through the chat real quick and say thank you to everybody that's tuning in. So that's pretty dope, because I was a little bit nervous because the channel's been dormant for a bit. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to mix it up with the live stream and moto vlogs and install and pretty much walk around of products and stuff like that. So let me just take a quick look at the chat. Hit me up with a thumbs up in the chat if my audio is coming in clear, please. Thank you. You're good now. Oh, yeah. Civilized Savage, what up? Donna. And of course, the lovely wife is in here, of course, supporting. FZ Rider, Derek, Ducati Rider 13. Oh, man. Governor D Nice. Oh, my God. Huge supporter of the channel. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I know it's starting pretty small, very lightweight. So what's good with you guys? Comment down below. I'd like to kind of personally greet you as you are here. So what's going on? What's new with you guys in the mix of all this chaos? I got a lot to talk about, a lot to show, of course. And I want to hear about you guys first before I start diving into that stuff. I guess while you guys type up, I just want to show you guys something really cool in the setup that I built here. You guys are probably seeing my overhead gear here, guys. This is something that I'm going to be working on the Street Fighter in our upcoming videos I'm working on with either motivation or for myself. I'm going to change the front end of the Street Fighter. So what you're seeing here is basically my new setup. I am a bit nervous about the setup because, one, I usually run double mirrors. Oh, getting those thumbs up so you guys could hear me. Yeah, so you guys could definitely hear me. That's really good. Hopefully my audio is nice and clean, because I've been like stressing about this whole thing for weeks on end, because I always want to make sure the quality looks good, audio sounds good, and then I start off on like this fumbling stuff. Oh man, audio's very clean. All right, that's good. That's good to hear. Let's see what we got here. And the rest of it. You're moving. FZ, where are you moving to? Donna, I know you're looking for a new bike. So what are you considering? I saw that you had sold your bike. I think you mentioned that to me via Instagram, and then you're looking for something else. You know, that good old Street Fighter V2. I'll give you guys my opinion about it shortly, but I don't know. I'm with that V4 right now, and I'm pretty much all the way about it. I'll give you my opinion shortly on this. Twist the Throttle. What up? Anyway, guys, small little favor. If you could wish my wife happy anniversary. As you guys may know, she nearly died about 2 years ago. So every single year, any anniversary is very special to us. So that's pretty cool. So it's actually my anniversary weekend. We're starting off the live stream, so I'm pretty happy about that. And she's always a great support when I'm doing anything motorcycle related. Never really have any hiccups about me blowing money on these crazy toys and stuff like that. So very appreciative to have somebody like that around. So keeping that stuff nice and brief because I don't want to sap a little bit. But yeah, hopefully everything is good with you guys, man. So I guess we might as well dive into it that you guys are here. So I'll give you a little bit of a heads up what's been going on with me. I'm going to change up the Street Fighter a little bit. So right now I'm running the 2 bar end mirrors on the side, and they're by Moto Gadget from Motivation USA. Of course, I have all my links in the description if you guys ever want to support me. I never sell anything to anybody or ask you guys to buy anything, but if you buy with motivationusa.com with my link, I actually get a kickback. That kind of helps pretty much everything you're seeing, this entire setup. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna be going from that double bar end mirrors from left to right to a single bar end mirror. I'm gonna push it to the left side, and I'm gonna do a brake lever guard, street guard, pro guard by Rizoma. Shout out to them for making that happen. And I'm a little bit nervous because I usually ride with 2 mirrors, so I love the look of it though. Pretty much the entire team at Motivation rocks a single mirror. I'm assuming it's because most people tend to speed and they're going to the speeding lane, and then they only head check when they're going to exit out. So pretty excited to be doing that. I'm gonna be doing some pro grips. Let me show you guys that real quick. Actually, let's step over real quick. Just to kind of give you guys a quick heads up. So this is the Rizoma grips that I'm gonna be throwing on the bike. These guys are super clean. I'm going to be installing those. Of course, you guys know I'm going to be doing a detail installation. They're by Rizoma. Super gummy. And then, of course, the brake guards I was just talking about. And, of course, we got a ton of beta tools. Tons of beta tools, guys. And we're going to be talking about some Aeriel parts, which is treated titanium. I just want to show you guys that real quick. Hopefully, you can kind of catch that focus. This is going to be your kickstand nub and some stem caps by Aeriel. So those are going to be pretty cool to actually throw on the bike, and I think they're going to look pretty neat throwing those on. It's going to be small installation, but anyway, that's what it is. So, what are your thoughts, guys, on the new Ducati Street Fighter V2? By the way, just a quick heads up, this is not going to be an all Ducati kind of thing. Really, I think I fell victim to the whole like brand loyalty thing. I do like Ducati quite a bit, but I do love a lot of motorcycles. I'm sure you guys know that as well. It just so happened, there's a whole story when it comes to Ducati and me. We'll kind of get into that either in a video or maybe on a stream. We can talk about it, how I kind of fell into the whole Ducati thing and how I kind of, it was just one of those things. Long story short, they were basically a bike that I fell in love with when I was working, and I would go on my lunch break in a dealership, and I was way too poor to kind of ever even consider getting one of these motorcycles, and it has inspired me to really work really hard in life and personal career to kind of achieve that, and that's kind of led me to a whole other things. So here we are. Now we have 3 going on 4 bikes, and everything is awesome. So I can't really complain. Anyway, that's just kind of a short version of that. We will tackle that in a video, but I'd love to hear what are your thoughts on that Street Fighter V2, man. How was the experience on upgrading the exhaust? Oh, that's a great question, Dragon Chi. Doing the exhaust on the Street Fighter V4S, I'm hoping you're referring to that bike since it's the most current one. It was a lot of work, man. It was a lot in detail. When I first did the radiator and oil cooler guard in the Street Fighter, I was pretty like stressed about it. I was like, oh my God, I'm taking the bike completely apart. Granted, I knew what I was doing, but it was still a lot of work. And I was very hesitant because since it was my first time completely taking it apart, I was very fearful of breaking anything of importance. Usually on a motorcycle, once you make a mistake, it ends up costing you way more than the actual project. So after doing that, it made me a lot more comfortable about working on the bike. But then when I dove into working on the exhaust, man, it was so much work. The one beautiful thing that Ducati does, they know how to button up a bike and make it look incredible. Like the fit and finish looks really good. You don't see any rivetings, any fasteners, anything like that. The downside to that, a lot of people tend to not know the downside. It makes the bike 1,000 times harder for you to take apart, because all of the fastening, all of the bolts, they're all hidden in a certain way, or they're screwed in a certain way where you can never see it. And that's the beauty of Ducati. It's like the way they dress it up. they make it look a certain way. So it was a lot of work to complete the exhaust. You technically have to take the bike completely apart all the way to the engine. And if you're doing a completely full system, the headers have to come off, the rear headers have to come off of the V4. Even the subframe I had to kind of pull off to get that put on there. We're talking about, if you're buying an exhaust for this bike where it's almost $5,000, it's probably going to cost you another $2,000 to $3,000 to get it put on if you're not doing it yourself. Hence why I do these videos. It's not to tell people you have to do them yourself. It's really to give you a loose guide, give you a general idea what it would take for you to do it yourself. And if you're feeling bold and you're feeling confident and you want to take your time, you have a space to work, you can actually do it. It's not impossible, but you have to know what you're doing. You have to have a reference point. You have to know your torque specs and be able to remember what you're doing, or at least have a lot of reference photos in your phone, which I do that quite a bit of time. So that's one of the perks of the videos. And the sad part to me about these videos, the level of work and detail, camera work and physical work for the bike, not all the time they get the notoriety that you expect them to get. You know what I mean? So you're putting a lot of work, a lot of effort, and they tend to be, some of them are lukewarm or slow boiling water, I would say. So, but they're evergreen content, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's a great question. I think that's pretty cool to answer that. Let's see what else we got here. Anything of super interest? The upgrade of camera. Another great question, man. Let me see. Unless everybody's asking something else, I will definitely. Dishes. It's kind of hard to say. So when I work on the bike, since I do have a place to actually take it apart completely, what I should have done, to be honest, I should have listened to A. She's been convincing me, hey, get a lift, and I'm like being super hard-headed about it, and she's like, I'll just order it for you, don't worry about it. And I'm like, no. So I kept continuously holding it off, which I should have. It made my workflow a lot more difficult. Time frame wise, damn, I know if you take it to the dealer, it's like a 9-hour job or something weird like that. Yeah, it definitely took a long time. I think the time wasn't super important, but what was super important about doing this installation is having the right tools, because there's a lot of specialized tools like hose clamp pullers, so you don't pinch anything. I know there were certain points. Sorry, I have to look back at the bike so I can kind of jog my memory a little bit regarding what I've done, whatever. A just said I'm pretty stubborn. Yeah, there's a lot of specialty tools, and you have to have a torque specs and some certain torque bits, T-torques you need for the subframe. All of those are like specialized, and to be honest, I'm super grateful. We just landed a nice deal with Beta Tools. They're very well known with World Superbike, MotoGP, Moto America. Thanks to the guys at Motivation USA, they're starting to provide a lot of the Beta Tools. Again, you could definitely check that, motivationusa.com/CFNY. I will be having like pop-ups on the screen in future uploads and stuff like that. But for now, this is a very base layup. It's probably looking a little messy in the back, but I'm going to clean it up. It's going to be nice. But it did take a while for me to get the installation put on. The only problem that I encountered was finding out that I need some specialty tools in certain areas of the bike. So that took a lot longer. The biggest hurdle you're gonna encounter, whether you're doing a V4 Street Fighter, V4S Street Fighter, Panigale V4, or V4 SP, in order to get to the rear heat shield, you have to disassemble the entire motorcycle. We're talking about gas tank, rear subframe, in order to remove that heat shield. A lot of work, because I guess the way they design it, it looks clean on the outside, but everything is on the inside, and in order to get to it, it's like you're delayering an apple or something like that. So, but it was a huge learning experience, man. I actually enjoyed doing it, and I feel very, very proud every time I look at the bike or I even ride it. Whenever I go places, it's a very unique exhaust. It always strikes a conversation. It always leads to how long it took for someone to do it. They're thinking that I took it to the dealer, and I didn't. So that's pretty cool. All right, we'll keep it moving. Was it Twist the Throttle asked, was it worth it? Come on, man. That's a dead giveaway. It's an exhaust, buddy. Come on, man. An exhaust is always worth it. Just to annoy my neighbors, that was worth it. Nah, I actually love the exhaust. There are little pros and cons. I will be doing a video where I cover certain things that are pros and cons regarding the video. Regarding the exhaust, I know some of these exhausts are between $3,000 to $4,000, and in some cases, I do get stuff for free, guys. So I'm not gonna be shy about it. It's part of the game. So in some cases, that we get special deals or sponsored stuff. But there are still little pros and cons, little stuff that we can do better and talk about. So that's something we will talk about. Specialty tools are a beast. Oh, we have 5 up in the stream, guys. You guys, I don't know. If you guys follow me, you guys know I follow 5 up. It's my buddy Steve. Huge congratulations to him. He just bought a Super Leggera. Okay, not to kind of be, I don't know, I don't want to be about numbers, but let's just see that bike is above and beyond when we're talking about the cost. That's a specialized Ducati and something that I mean, I don't foresee myself having something like that, but it's super cool. So congrats, Steve. Oh, I know you guys were asking about the exhaust a little bit earlier. Steve was instrumental in actually me doing this. In all my frustration parts where you don't see in the video in the installation, he was there kind of guiding me from another state, a lot of video chat, even to a point where I was super frustrated. I'm like, I am done. I'm buttoning the bike back up and just dropping it off and getting it done. He was like, nah, continue going, keep going. He's a really dope guy, super talented when we were working on motorcycles. So he helped a lot. These are some of the behind the scenes that you might not know. All right, let me read the next one. Oh, this is great. I'm actually really enjoying this, man. Let me see. What do you think of the Street Fighter SP? Oh, that's a great question. So Donna Main is asking, what do I think of the Street Fighter V4 SP? Now, I'm a bit of a fanboy when we're talking about Ducati. I think we all can agree on that. Not too much so, but the SP is a pretty cool bike. Now, is it worth the amount? Hold on one second, okay, guys? I just want to kind of see here if it's worth it, in my opinion. Here we are, guys. We're taking a quick look at the V4 SP here. Let's go under Discover. Hopefully this will kind of load up pretty quick. It's been a little sluggish regarding my connection. All right, well then I'll just keep this up here while it's loading. The SP is a very interesting bike, and I think Ducati did something special. And I don't know how amazing I would say the SP is, because I feel like they could have done a little bit better to do something that's a little bit more special. Yeah, they have the carbon wheels, which we're seeing here. That's from the Super Leggera and the Panigale V4R SP. That's cool, and I'm definitely gonna do that on my Street Fighter V4 SP. I've been talking about getting some carbon fiber wheels for a bit now. It's just a matter of time. We kind of get those done. With COVID happening, there's a huge delay on getting them. So I definitely love that aspect of the Street Fighter V4S, where they have the carbon fiber wheels. The dry clutch, you can actually get that directly on any of the Ducati Street Fighter V4s, right? You can do that. The tank casing in brushed aluminum and the colorway, I do like that as well. I just feel like Ducati could have done a whole lot more. Instead of doing an SP, in my personal opinion, they should have just done some really wild colorways. For example, I told my buddy Steve the Ducati Panigale Speciale, that colorway is one of the best they've done in a while. And if you guys spend a little bit of time on Instagram, on any social media, you've seen a lot of wild Ducati Street Fighter V4S custom paint schemes. And I think Ducati should have taken that opportunity and really work on that, because they're going to do, I can tell you what's going to happen in the next couple of years. They're going to do the signature Ducati yellow. We have the red, they do the black, and then they're going to do the kind of white, very similar to my Monster, where it's not like gloss, but like kind of flat matte. That's going to be one of them. The SP is kind of, it's expensive. I mean, granted, the other bikes are not cheap neither, but it's really expensive when we're talking about just an SP version. It's the colorway you're paying for. We're talking about almost, is it $38,000 or $20,000? The Street Fighter V4 SP, that's kind of a lot. For the Street Fighter V4S, we're talking about $25,000 with tax and freight and everything else that you get. Once you're done leaving the dealership, you're gonna be close to 30 grand anyway. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough one for me to say. You know, it's a great buy or anything like that. I think if you're a Ducati fan, you think it's the right move for you. Yeah, but nothing has changed in the bike per se. You know, it's just the colorway, the carbon fiber wheels. I think they should have went real gaudy mode, first of all. Carbon fiber winglets, carbon fiber mudguard, fender, pretty much any of those things that are not on the V4S should have been on that SP. I think it would have really warranted that price tag, in my opinion. Hopefully we didn't stick on that too long. I get a little passionate when we're talking about Ducati. You know how it is. I think the new Duck Rider 13 Fab says, I think the new Street Fighter V2 looks great. Price point, power, and look seems to be right on. Hoping it cannibalizes hideous new monster. The hideous new monster. That hideous new monster. That's a whole other conversation, man. We're not even going to go to the whole monster thing. The new Street Fighter, one thing I really, really love about that new Street Fighter V2, that bottom belly pan clean up really, really nicely. I don't know if nobody has been talking about that, and it hasn't been something that too many people are talking about. Let me see if I could pull this up so we can look at it. It's kind of storming outside, and I feel like my connection's a little slow. Let me see here. I'm going to try to pull it up as we talk about it. I love the bottom belly pan. My concern for the V2 is that the L-Twin runs hot, okay? And I can tell you, same thing goes for the Monster. It runs hot. The V2, the beauty about the V2, you're going to get a whole lot of torque, and it sounds amazing. Like the Monster and the Hyper, the characteristic those two bikes have, man, they're not like the V4S. The V4S is so refined, so smooth, and it feels like you're on a race bike. It sounds like MotoGP when you're on the Street Fighter at all times, and it makes you feel like you want to go fast at all times. But when you get on the Monster and the Hyper, they're very grunty, very throaty, very, very loud. I'll probably pull off a startup for you guys at some point. Let me see if I could have some photos here just so we can take a quick look at... So strange, my connection. I've done, you know what's so funny, guys? I've done so many tests before going live. I've done it numerous times with A and close friends and stuff. Everything worked flawlessly. The one time you get up and you start going, I don't know. Maybe if it's the storm, kind of slows things down a little bit. I made sure my up speed, down speed is like immaculate, and just that same night you choose, Mike, that's what goes down, baby. But the V2 is proven. I still have issues. Oh, Duck Rider 13 says that V2 is proven. So That's pretty common thing with any motorcycle manufacturer. So you see that along with Yamaha crossplane crank engine on the R1. It goes down to the MT10. You see the inline 3 on the MT07, MT09, and everything else. If it's been proven, you're not gonna have any issues. So I'm gonna tell you guys right now, the Street Fighter is the most flawless Ducati I've had from day one. Out of all the Ducatis I've owned, this bike is 100% all times, every time, start up, no issue, never any hiccup, doesn't hold up for anything. So to be honest, I think that Street Fighter is pretty on point. Maybe since they've been doing the Panigale V4S for a bit now, what, 2017 or 2018 and up till 2021. It's a proven engine on there, and they've been using it for GP also, right? So it's a homologated engine, so that power plant's pretty much good to go, and it's pretty smooth. Yeah, it's not much to say about it, to be honest. Let me see here. Sorry guys, there's a lot of comments coming in, so I'm trying my best to kind of go through them, and while I'm chatting and stuff like that. I think the new Street Fighter V2 looks great. So I do think it's a great idea for business. Do I think it's gonna eat up the Ducati Monster market? Absolutely not. The Monster has its own niche, like super dedicated fans that are not gonna go anywhere. I mean, I'm a huge Monster guy. I love all of my bikes and stuff, but I have a sweet spot for the Monster, not just because I have better bikes or that's faster or anything like that. There's a lot of history when we're talking about the Monster, at least for me. So that's another thing we can go into maybe in a video or maybe another stream. The L-Twin sound, again, you can't match that. I think I've said it before in my Ducati Street Fighter V4S video that the V4 is an imposter, a Ducati imposter almost. Because when you're at low RPMs or you're at a standstill, turn off the rear cylinders, it thumps like an L-Twin, okay? But when you start riding, it goes very GP sounding, like bah, 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 bah. Like it's just, it rides like a GP bike, hands down, and it sounds like it as well. So again, this is why I call it a little bit of an imposter. I'm considering a GS. Donna's considering a GS or an ADV bike. He's going full on dad mode, baby. He's gonna get himself an ADV bike. All right, let's see what we got here. Does it prove any issues? Yeah, again, like I said, it is a proven engine. The L-Twin with the V2 Monster. My only concern about that bike is the warmth. Okay, I do a lot of city riding and I do canyon carving. You do get a lot of heat from it. I think it's something I have to hold off on until I ride one for myself and get my own opinion about it. Again, it's an open bike, so hopefully it's going to breathe a lot better. And I hate to keep referring to the Ducati Street Fighter, but this is the coolest Ducati I've ever owned. Out of all of the Ducatis that I've actually owned, with the whole technology of the rear cylinders turning off, I mean, you could ride this all day without like toasting your nuts. Let's see here. Handyman, I have a 2008 Suzuki B King for sale, 11,000 mile, 196 horsepower. What are you promoting over here? He's selling a bike, guys. Check this guy out. Maybe somebody else might want it. Sounds pretty clean, man. 11,000 miles in 2008 is not a lot, so maybe you really took great care of it. That's awesome. It looks like a transformer. All right, when you get my age. Jose Moreno is asking when's the next video. So the next video is already cut and edited. It's going to be a Ducati Hyper video. I travel from the west side of Manhattan, New York, all the way down to the east, going to the bridge. Pretty cool video, I think. Hopefully I'll have it out either Monday or Tuesday. It should have been released today, but I was prepping for the stream, and I kind of did the whole like we're off hanging out kind of thing. This is why I didn't have it live. but I will be more diligent and throw that video on. All right, Duck Rider. I have a 1200 Monster R in the V2, sickening with the power, over 6,000 miles. So one issue that I have with the Monster line, in the beginning, I had no problem with the Monster line. I love the sound. I love the grunt. The weight is pretty nicely balanced. I started to feel like the Ducati Monster, it wasn't necessarily under power. So we were talking about the Super Duke was coming out. The Super Duke is here. The FZ09s. Oh, guys, please, if you're watching, hit the thumbs up for the video. That's definitely going to help with the algorithm. Completely forgot to ask that. Always do that on any of my videos. So we got a couple of you guys here. Some people will be watching this down the line. Hit the thumbs up. Before I even go any further, just hit it up now, please. I'm not asking for anything major. Just a thumbs up. It's going to help with the algorithm. That's basically going to help the channel go back on YouTube's like radar to recommend. So, and against the whole point of me doing the live stream is to kind of get the channel back up and running and going towards the wave of YouTube. So yeah, I would appreciate it. Thank you if you guys do. Oh yeah, back to what I was just saying. I lost my train of thought for a split second. I felt like between the FZ09, Super Duke, and all of the other competitors that I was currently out, it felt to me that the Monster was slightly becoming under power. If you're rocking with a group of friends, granted the bike sounds great, the weight is nice, and I don't like to consider like throwing thousands of dollars on a bike after you spent a lot of money buying it, paying that whole Ducati tax thing. Your bike should be just as great as any other bike. I mean, how sucky would it be you meet up with some friend with an MT 09 or something like that and just dusting you off the line or something like that, or long term, or you know, on a long stretch of road you're not keeping up. So I think that was one of their biggest opportunity when we're talking about the Monster, which brings us towards the new Monster. Instead of them making a larger engine to get more power, they reduced the weight of the bike. Now, am I a huge fan of removing the trellis frame? That's another conversation we'll have to check out later if you smash that thumbs up. But they've made the bike a lot lighter, and they threw in the same engine that's on the 950 and the 939 SP, same power plant. Granted, it's not a lot more power, but the bike's a lot lighter. It's a nice trade-off, so you're probably going to get a lot more torque, a lot less weight. So it's a pretty interesting approach, and of course that saves the company money because they don't have to develop a whole new engine. It's basically recycling some of the materials they have around, and then just transitioning the look, the materials they're using, the trellis frame to kind of reduce the weight. So short story there. Both of us, brother. The body teller. So Nick has a very good question, guys. Nick Palmieri. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Sorry if I butchered your name, but since I did pick your question, you better hit that thumbs up, boy. And I'm going to tackle Howard Lee's question right after. So the lack of fuel gauge, I think there's two reasons for that problem on the Ducati Street Fighter V4S. Is it an issue? I kind of got used to it, man. On all of my Ducatis, there's no fuel gauge. I kind of know when to kind of go and gas up. The Street Fighter is a whole new beast. It's a gas guzzler heavily. So that power plant is huge, and cracking that throttle, you have to hit the gas station. So you kind of get used to it. But the underlying issue with the Street Fighter V4S, I think since the gas tank goes all the way to the bottom where the trellis frame goes, where you could even see it near the single-sided swing arm at the bottom, they couldn't get a sensor there to read it correctly. Based on my, I couldn't say research loosely. It's not scientific. From what I read, they had some issue getting a gas gauge there where it's going to be precise. So that's probably why the Street Fighter doesn't have one, or the Panigale V4S or V4R. All right. Howard Lee. All right. I'm going to check out Howard Lee. How do you like your hyper motard? Currently have a street triple and looking into getting another bike. How does it ride? Great question. In my new video that's going to come out this week, either Monday or Tuesday, I kind of hint on why I hate and like the hyper motard. If you're looking for a bike to go around your city, whether it's New York City or any city that you live in, and you want to go there and have a great time and have a lot of fun, a lot of torque, wheelie slides, and just you can hear it, it's grunty, that is the bike for you. Do not get a hyper motard if you want to jump on the highway and go for stretch of roads. I think in the very beginning when I bought this bike, out of excitement, I would jump on the highway because I guess that's me like dry snitching on myself here. I would jump on my bike. I'd make it 20 minutes down to Manhattan, which technically is usually about an hour ride. But that's where I'm coming from, Mexico, for those of you guys. So I would basically I would take that hyper motard and I would ride it down, and I'm fully opening the throttle, just going hard on it. The gearing is short on that bike, unless you want to go get it tuned and have it your RPM bumped up where you have higher gearing, taller gearing, which I wouldn't recommend. That's the whole point of the hyper. It's like bumping through gears, bah, 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 and you know, getting the front light and you sliding it out or whatever you want to do, being really hooligan-like. It's perfect for that. But for a bike you're going to jump on the highway to do like 30 miles, 40 miles back and forth from work, I don't know, man. I wouldn't recommend it. And then that's not me being like biased because it's Ducati or whatever. I would never tell any one of you guys to go out and buy a bike that I don't feel like deserve you putting your money out behind. So moving forward, I'm finding it to be like the bike that I take if I'm just going to be riding through the city all day and stuff like that, going to meetings or something like that, meeting up people for lunch. It's perfect. It's like you jump, you know, a curb with it or something like that. You don't have to worry about it bottoming out. It sounds good. It has great presence when you take it around people, and it's quick enough. I mean, I did mention that the gearing is very short, so you're hitting 100 miles very quick with that bike, and it could be very annoying if you don't have a quick shifter on it, because you're hitting the gears all the time. So if you want to kind of funny story is that after getting off the Street Fighter, I got on the Hyper. I was redlining it so much because the gearing is so tall in the Street Fighter, and I'm like, what's going on? And it starts like jolting, and I'm realizing, I'm redlining the bike. That's what was going on. So had to retrain a little bit, but it's definitely a fun bike. If you can keep your Street Triple and the Hyper, there's two different experiences. I'd recommend it if it's something that's in your budget. But depending on how you intend to use the Hyper, it could be a win. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Like a fuel gauge. Loving the city video. Dragon Cheat, thank you, man. I appreciate you guys watching all of the videos. I know I don't get a huge amount of views, but the views that I get, I truly appreciate them, and I know they're going to grow over time. I am very positive about that. I'm making every single video that I upload a learning experience, and trying to figure out this YouTube freaking dichotomy, man. It's like serious work. Let's see here. Ooh, Governor D Nice. I have to reply to Governor D Nice. This was like supposed to be a thing where I talk about the V2 as much as I can. This is becoming more of a Q&A, and that I'm cool with that too. I'm just glad to be here, guys. And to be honest, I was been a little nervous about doing the live stream. Not because of me doing the live stream per se. I'm very comfortable when it comes to being in front of the camera and chatting with people. I think the biggest scary factor of doing something is failure. And if you let the fear get to you, you'll never actually do what you want. And I'm like, so what? What is failure? I haven't failed, man. I'm happy. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with the content that I like doing. So, live stream doesn't go great. So what? And for those that are here that are enjoying it, I love that. So, hopefully that can grow. So, Governor D Nice is asking what's going to be my next bike. That's a two-part answer. So, I wanted to get something to mob around during the winter, because I don't think these motorcycles are ideal to be out in the elements doing the winter season. Not because they're Ducatis. I know a lot of people are like, oh, he has Ducatis. He doesn't take it in the rain. He doesn't take it in the snow. That's not the case at all. Street Fighter V4S is an absurdly fast motorcycle that's ridiculous, even on a regular beautiful day. Okay, the Hyper, it's super torquey. The Monster, it's just like the everyday bike. They just not fit for riding in like cold weather or with snow. So I wanted to get like a small pit bike, TTR at 125 or a Grom or something like that, just to be able to keep the channel going with the streams. Because heads up, I'm gonna be doing this every Sundays at 8 Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to rock with me every single time, feel free to do that. Or let other people know. Hopefully we can kind of grow this as much as I can, and I can answer even how I shoot my videos, tips and tricks, whatever you guys want to kind of chat about, or if you just want to learn about my stuff or take away from my stuff, I can do that as well. So my actual next real bike is going to be a super bike. There's many reasons why it took me so long to get a super bike, because your boy's a little bit more mature, all right? So that's the one thing. I'm just bullshitting, okay? I'm just bullshitting. They're not super comfortable. They are beautiful. They're showstoppers. When you go places, they're instantly recognizable. But I always felt personally, maybe because I'm becoming a little bit more mature, man, it's like if I'm spending cold hard cash, $20,000, $30,000 on a motorcycle, I want to be able to enjoy it anytime throughout the day. I could ride it all day and enjoy myself. So this is why I kind of opt for the Street Fighter, because I almost bought the V4SP. I mean the V4S. Sorry, V4S. Oh, that's way above my budget there for him. It just felt right. The Street Fighter, I could ride it all day. I don't have to worry about it. So when I get the super bike, it could be like a cars and coffee bike, something I ride on Sundays. And if I'm just doing a couple of an hour and a half blast, 40-minute blast, I know I'm not going to hurt my knees or my back or something weird like that. And I've been dreaming about getting one for a while, and that's what's been my hold off. And I wanted to get the bikes that I really want and I can enjoy. Because what tends to happen, if you get a bike that's not something you really like and you're going to love and enjoy, every year when they announce a new bike, you're going to be like, should I be getting the new thing? Oh, maybe I should get the... Dude, let's be real. If you're buying your bike outright, pick something wise. Pick something that you know you're going to love. Buy something for yourself and not what everyone else want or what they want you to get. Because I know people see Ducati on my channel. I don't buy any of my bikes for the channel. Granted, it's beneficial. Some people like seeing some of the newest Street Fighter. I buy my bike for me. I buy all my bikes for me, for my own purpose, because I love them, I like them. And then everything else that comes after that is just a slight benefit. So, and then you guys get to enjoy to see me work on them or whatever, or mod them out. So that's going to be my probably last and final bike for a little bit. And hopefully I can get a supercar one of these days. Alright, let's see what else we got here. Nah, you got to keep those bikes nice and looking good. Clean, bless up, man. Yeah, see? You know what's so funny? Everyone says the same thing about these motorcycles. They love the super bikes. They look great. But the fact that... either during their ride, their wrist and their back started hurting for a period of time, or they would enjoy the day entirely, and then the following day it's like, oh my God, the end of the world. And I don't want to have that feeling at all. I love to enjoy my bike in a certain way where I don't have to worry about it. So that's why that super bike will be my my final bike in the stable. That's probably going to be my 4th bike. And yes, I'm going to keep all the other bikes because my wife would probably kill me if I try to get rid of one of them. She's a bit of a hoarder when it comes to bikes. But I really know what's up with her. I think she's very emotionally attached to the Monster because that was before she got sick. We did a lot of adventures on that bike. So she's kind of like has something for that motorcycle kind of thing. Naked's my fave, except on long highways. So, guys, for you guys that are unaware of it, 5 Up, my buddy Steve, I mentioned a little bit earlier, he has a slew of motorcycles, okay? He's a bit of a Ducati fanboy too, but he has everything. Busas, Super Dukes, Ducatis, and he has all the super bikes. Well, not all, but a lot of them. And Naked's is his favorite too. I think you get a better bang for your buck when we're talking about motorcycles. And I'm a bit of a logical guy when it comes to spending money. I like to know my dollar is going to be stretched pretty far. You know, I don't want to get a bike that's a Sunday rider only or a couple of hours here. You know, I want to get something, if I want to ride all day and go get barbecue, you know, at Bear Mountain or Hawk's Nest and come back home and hang out and still feel okay to watch a movie with Anna, yeah, I'm good. All right, guys. Oh, we got Chrome and Throttle in the building. What's good, man? Thank you so much. He's out in Brooklyn, guys. Great guy. And again, my apologies to you. He's invited me to ride so many times and I did not get to make it. Chrome and Throttle, quick heads up. This is for you. And by the way, anybody that's in New York, it's for you too. So Josh Herring, he's a racer, Moto America racer. I think he's going to be riding Ducati. He will be in Ducati this Tuesday. So I'm going to be out in Ducati, and then we're going to ride out to the Classic Car Club in Manhattan. So that's one of those things that I was just going to show up. So if you're in the stream, you know that I'm going to be there. So I wanted to meet him. I think he's a pretty cool dude, so very excited to be there. Oh, for those of you that are new, that are just tuning in, please take a moment and hit that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with the channel. And it helps me get the channel to be seen by YouTube. And I need that in order to continue. Guys, just to kind of give you a quick heads up, about maybe another 15 minutes, I'm going to be shutting down. It's going on an hour. Hopefully I'm not boring anybody. I've been talking quite a bit. Sure. Let's see what we got here. Dragon Chi is 50 years old. This is the best looking 50-year-old guy ever, dude. When I become at that age, I want to look as young as this freaking guy. Let's see here what he mentioned here. Yeah, it's the same thing with him. He has a super bike as well. He loves the feel of it. He loves the bike, and an upright would be more comfortable. So I think we all kind of fall into that same category about comfort and dollar. All right, let's see here. Let's see what we got. Twist the Throttle has a 2006 Ducati 999. You know what's kind of cool about that comment? I think for a long period of time, Ducati had like this stigma about it. They don't run well or they don't last long. We're seeing a lot of Ducatistas coming out saying, I got 30,000 miles, I got 40,000 miles, I've been rocking it for a very long time, and they still have their bikes. The thing is with Ducati, guys, just keep that in mind. The thing is with Ducati is that they're not extremely different from any other bike, guys. The main difference with Ducati is the fact that they're not rocking valve springs, okay? The technology for them to spark the headers, okay? It's a bevel system. Okay, since it's a lot of movement, there is no springs to go back and forth, and it doesn't hover at higher RPMs, so it's consistent power. That requires a lot more maintenance. This is why we do the valve maintenance, and there are a lot more, and that requires a specialty person that knows what they're doing. That's where it costs a lot of money, and I think, to be honest, if we want to give Ducati a little bit more credit, they've actually changed that quite a bit. I remember the older Ducatis, every 6,000, 6,500,000 miles, you'd have to do almost a $2,000 valves clearance check. We went from 6,000 to 12,000, 15,000. I think most monsters now are 18,000 to 18 to 20,000 miles before you do a valve adjustment on there. That's a major service. So, and most people don't even ride their bike to that amount, to be honest. I think my bike that have the most miles is the Monster. I think I got like 30,000 or 32,000 miles on that bike. And that bike is clean and crisp, guys. It start up every single time, no problem at all. So, till this day, that bike does not even stutter one bit when it starts. So, but then again, I take very good care of these motorcycles. Oil change on a frequent basis, spark plugs. I do a lot of work myself. That way I save money. It might take me a little bit longer, but that's one way of you remedying that. Hopefully, when I get a lift, when I do decide to get one, I'll be able to do some more work that you can see. All right. Let me know if you guys want to see a startup real quick. I'll do a startup. Oh, Van Blam, really cool guy. He has some great videos. He's just jumping on the live stream. What's up to you, sir? Love the content as well. Oh, if you're new, also hit the thumbs up with the stream. Hopefully it can help. Oh, crap. Donna has 36,000 miles on his multi V4. 36,000 mile for a multi V4. Oh, no, not on his. Sorry, I kind of misread that. I was going pretty quickly. It's 36,000 miles for the new Ducati Multistrada V4. So they're making a lot of headways regarding valve adjustments. So they're catching up to the Japanese boys. But that still doesn't change the fact that it's a lot of money, though. If you're not doing the work yourself, you know, if you're not a kind of person that's ready for one of these bikes and you end up buying it and then you're riding it, you hit up to that 18,000 or 20,000 mile, and then you have to do that major service where it's, depending on, in New York State, a dealership here is based on an hourly rate, and it basically changes quite a bit where you go. So if you go somewhere where it's not as much, the Ducati dealership in New York is located in the middle of Manhattan, and that is prime real estate where it's super expensive. I think their hourly rate is like $150 an hour plus or something weird like that. So we'd be talking about $2,000 for that major maintenance, dude. So, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's a lot of money. No, I'm not saying that's not a lot of money, but it all depends on who you are. So, guys, that last 10 minutes is coming up. Last few questions, if you guys want to ask, I'll be more than happy to answer. If you guys want to see me do that couple of startups, I'm fine with that too. I'll do that. Let me see with Ducatis. Use it or lose it. So you guys are Dragon Chi mentioned he's looking forward to some more downtime riding videos. I've been uploading for the past 2 months, 2-3 months, pretty frequently, at least once a week, 1 to 2 times a week. I don't think everyone's getting the notifications, so you guys could. Oh, I've broken them down to libraries, Street Fighter, Hyper, and Monsters, so you can definitely check them out. There's a lot of new content. There's a lot of new content that I am posting. I kind of divide up the videos. I'm not doing as much Monster because I have hundreds of Monster videos. So I didn't feel like there's a huge point. And I've done all the mods that I wanted to do on the Monster. It's pretty much running to the T. So I'm doing a lot of Hyper and a lot of Street Fighter videos. There's barely any miles on both of those bikes, guys. And I tend to use the Monster the most, even though I don't record with it. That's like my personal me time bike, where, you know, I'm chilling locally or doing stuff. I just ride that bike. It's just like very personal to me. So, but I'm trying to get a lot of miles. I don't even think I have 1,000, or I think I just hit 1,000 on the Hyper. So that bike is still pretty brand new. The Street Fighter is, I think, just 1,000 miles on there too. So I ride them a lot. It's just with work, professional, the motivation videos. And again, if you guys could go check those out or subscribe to Motivation, that helps the channel too. it's just a lot, man. So I try to ride as many of the bikes as possible. I think it's kind of a first world problem here where you get to pick, you have too many options to put miles. But yeah, let's see what we get here. Trying to get let's see here. Maybe we should bother the neighbors on a Sunday night with startup. Oh, here's a great question, guys. I have to answer this one too. Twist the Throttle mentioned, what bike handles better in the Twisties, Hyper, or Street Fighter? That one's a given, brother. The Street Fighter is the best handling bike that I own. I'm not saying it's the best handling bike in the world. Out of my stable, it's the best handling bike. I think the reason why that bike rides the way it does, to be honest, it's very reminiscent of the Monster. It's like a hulked out version of the Monster. The counter rotating crank in that bike changed the inertia. Once you tip over, the bike just kind of goes, man, left to right. It just, that bike is seamless. It's the biggest bike, most power, most dangerous, the easiest to ride out of all of them. You can get in a lot of trouble so easy on that motorcycle because they did too good of a job to make you feel very comfortable on a very powerful machine. It's light, powerful, fast, flickable, and there's tons of rider aids on there. If you buy that bike, you keep the rider aids on, and you crack the throttle, you're gonna feel very powerful. You're gonna do a lot of cool things. But if you turn everything off, you can pretty much yourself if you don't want. Yeah. Any more Street Fighter DIY videos in the future? Nick Palmieri. Yes, I did mention. Let me just kind of quickly show you real quick. I want to show you guys this. Take a quick look. This is a little bit of an overhead, guys. You're seeing a couple of stuff. So this is what I'm showing you guys. This is my beta tool sponsorship that I just got. Tons of beta tools that's been sent to me to build up the garage. This one I dropped. I kind of broke the metal part. Very excited. Oh, let me show you guys this. This is really cool. This is Beta Tools torque wrench. And again, thank you guys for watching the channel. A lot of this stuff would not be possible if people weren't even paying attention. So this is for smaller spec torques. I will be using more bigger beta tools on the bikes. But yeah, lots of stuff, lots of cool tools being sent out. Again, you can see a lot of beta tools in the paddock of MotoGP, Moto America, World Superbike, and that brand, being able to partner with them is really awesome, man. I'm super, super grateful, to be honest, because these tools could be super expensive. All right. So what I'm doing with the Street Fighter next, you will see that video, is the I'm changing my grips. It's very exciting because I've never done grip swap before, so that's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing the Rizoma mutation grips. Very cool. I'm also going to remove my Moto Gadget bar end mirrors. I'm going to go to a CRG mirror. Very excited. That's my first time using this brand. And again, guys, motivationusa.com/CFNY. All of the links will be in the description. That support me and the channel, and I do get a kickback. I make money off that. I wouldn't lie about that. You guys know the deal. And then I'm going to do a brake guard, a brake lever guard on the right side of the bike. Very cool. Now these are cool. I think these are really dope. This is Aeriel, guys. This is a Japanese style company that produce very high-end, almost Italian style like. If you guys look on the side, this is titanium, heat treated. You can see a little bit of blue, purplish, and then the tint is kind of changing. Not because that's the color, it's because it's heat treated. Aeriel, a really, really dope company. And I also have a kickstand knob by Aeriel as well. Same thing as heat treated. You can get this in 2 colorways. You do have some of the blue and goldish going down. So that's going to be my next Street Fighter project. I'm going to do a 2-part little build series. Keep it nice and small. All right, so I think that should be something cool and easy. Now, the reason why I'm doing that, a lot of my Street Fighter videos tend to be a little scary because I get a lot of questions where people is asking, are you afraid you're taking a brand new bike apart? I kind of figured I'd do something a little bit more subtle to kind of inspire other people to want to start tackling. Because if you start tackling something a little bit smaller, and then slowly you can go to yourself like a radiator and oil cooler guard, and then maybe slowly you can inch your way to doing the whole exhaust system. So I think it's going to be a cool look, but I am very nervous. I don't usually ride with a single mirror. I'm usually a double mirror guy. So I think it's going to shorten the width of the actual motorcycle itself. You know, that way when I'm lane splitting and stuff like that. So I think that's a cool thing. And I think the look is going to be pretty cool with the brake guard on the right. And then we have the mirror, the CRG. Very excited for that. I'll be doing some pretty cool cinematics so you guys could see it. So stay tuned for that. All right, cool. All right, here we go, guys. We are at that hour mark real quick. So give me a quick second. I'm going to, I guess, disturb the neighbors just slightly real quick. I'm just going to quickly grab those keys, do a quick startup. Hopefully, let's see if every single one of those bikes actually start, as I always rave about and talk shit about. So let's just see. The monster's in the far corner, so you're probably just going to hear it. Let's see if the monster even works, because let's see here, hyper. Oh, just a quick heads up, guys. I will be doing more of a studio setup, and I just didn't want to kill any more time to kind of set up a whole studio scene prior to holding out the live stream. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do it and not wait. So let's start off with the good old Street Fighter. As you know, that's the new baby. I'm not going to let it run for a long time because I have the garage closed. I don't want to be smelling any fumes in here. And by the way, I have all the bikes on tender when they're not being used, so they're always pretty much very healthy battery. So let's get that hyper. Yo, that one was a little struggle. It was a little struggling. Alright, for the last but not least, let's see if yo, that hyper struggled for a split second, man. The Street Fighter, the monster might struggle because it hasn't been on for a bit. Man, it feels hot now that I turned those on. Don't inhale too much exhaust. Yeah, I'm going to try not to die doing this. So, last one. Last but not least. Let's see if my baby's actually still... Yo, you know what's crazy? The monster is out of gas, it struggled, and it starts up every time. I've had this bike 2013, brand new. Every single mile is from me. Nobody touched it, and the bike always runs, no issue, man. Like, I love it. By the way, the Monster still feels the loudest. Yo. By the way, the Monster feels the loudest out of all. The bike has 30,000 miles, so the engine characteristics is there. It's been broken in fully. The Street Fighter has like a 2-tier breaking in period. I'm still like in tier 1. The Hyper is still brand new, so the engine is still kind of forming its own kind of thing. So, oh my God, it's hot in here all of a sudden. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Let's see what we got here. Futurist Viper, any plans on to get a Jigsaw? That's a great question, man. I am getting a super bike, so who knows? You never know. Anyway, guys, again, thank you all for watching. I really love doing these videos. I know not all of them are very rewarding all the time, but I enjoy doing YouTube. I enjoy doing motorcycle videos, and hopefully you guys will start enjoying hanging out with me doing live streams like this where we can chat. It doesn't have to be about me all the time. It could be about one of you guys, or I'd love to kind of have people on as well, guests calling in. So there's a lot of plans to kind of ash out what this is going to be. I just didn't want to hold out by not having one yet. So this first one's a little bit more scattery. So just a heads up, it's still being in the works. So thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me get good with the algorithm. And hopefully I could actually really pick up my channel off the ground, because it's been a while. I was away, and there was a perfectly great reason for it. Not even great, really good reason. My wife went through a really traumatic situation, and the most important thing to me was to make sure that she was great. So I was off social media, off YouTube, and that wasn't my focus. So now that she is doing a lot better and out of the darkness, now we can actually make some of this stuff happen. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being here for the very first time. I can't praise you enough, and that was the biggest thing. I was like, oh my God, what if nobody show up? So guys, thank you. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll catch you guys next Sunday at 8 Eastern Standard Time.